Only a small percentage of people actually become pro athletes. Maybe I think it's like 3% of the population. Of those, a small percentage of them become all-stars. Of those, a small percentage of them become Hall of Famers. Of those, a small percentage of those become greatest of all time. What's the difference? It's not skills. Yeah, they may get better on their skills. Like they may be working on them longer. They may spend more time. But the difference is mindset. There is some skill involved. If you know the best, the greatest, Tom Brady, he's working constantly. Who is it? The greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan. He talks about how he worked his tail off and constantly worked his tail off. Scottie Pippen, there's a story on the internet about how, this guy was, he was on a team that was playing against not Scottie Pippen, who's the one that died in the Kobe, yeah. I hated Kobe. You know why? Because I'm a Boston Celtics fan. Yeah. I hate all the Lakers. So Kobe, there's a story that he was playing another team, and one of the team members, this up-and-coming guy, goes to start practice, and he sees Kobe in the practice, and he'd already broken a sweat, and his uniform was all, or his practice stuff was all sweated out, and so he starts practicing, and Kobe keeps practicing, and he keeps practicing, and he keeps practicing, and finally this guy's practice was over, right? And he goes over to Kobe. He goes, "Hey Kobe, how long are you going to practice for?" He goes, 10 minutes longer than you. That's the mindset. That's the mindset of a winner. But more importantly, it's the mindset of somebody that has control over their mind. All right, let's go into what your event goals could be. Maybe I'll say should be. The things that you'll be able to get at this event. First of all, you're going to meet people. That's the whole reason he came here, is to meet people. There's going to be great stuff on stage. There's going to be inspirational stuff on stage. But it's the networking at this event that's the most powerful. We've had companies come out of this event. People meet each other. They form a company. They do great things. I'm thinking of the Cointreau Group. Any members of the Cointreau Group? What year did you guys meet in Ultimate Partnering? What? What year did you meet at Ultimate Partnering? 2017. How many deals have you guys done since? 26 deals since. They were total strangers when they came to Ultimate Partnering. And there's all kinds of success stories like that, and there will be all kinds of those success stories created from this group right here. So there's money everywhere in this room. Here's the thing with money, okay? People that have deals are going to tell you they have deals because they want your money for their deals, which is great because that's one of the reasons we're here. People that are looking for partners and partnerships, you're always looking for those people that can complement you, that aren't the same as you, all right? So in there, you'll find that through conversations. The deals and the partnerships come easy. It's the money that's more difficult because people aren't going to tell you that they have money. They want to feel you out first. They want to get to know you. They want to feel your sense of integrity. And when you pass their quote-unquote, their feelers, that's when they'll open up. So the whole idea for those that are looking for people that have resources in this room is just be yourself. Be unique. Be authentic. And that will create money partnerships for you. And there's a ton of money in this room. I know, I'm not going to point them out, but I know a lot of people that have money in this room. I know who's part of Hunter Thompson's group in the room? Say, oh yeah. There's capital raisers in the room that go out there and raise capital. That's all they do. They raise capital, and then they put it into other people's deals. They're in this room. I remember Jeannie one time said to me, Dave, you see that old guy over there? I'm like, yeah. He's got $94 million that he wants to invest. She said, let's put him in some deals. I said, yeah, me first. I'm taking him out to lunch. So that happens at these different events. So just know that they're there. They're out there. The story I was thinking of in my head was Carl Withers. Carl Withers came to Ultimate Partnering years ago when we used to call it Secret Underground. And we were down in Austin. Austin's an awesome town. So he comes to me. I didn't know him back then. But he comes to me and he says, Dave, I'm in trouble. He comes to me during the break. I said, why? And he said, I've got 2 deals right now. I've got $150,000 of my brother-in-law's money that's hard in those deals. and I've got to raise $3.1 million, and I only have $400,000 raised, and I need to raise it within 3 weeks. I'm like, Carl, you're in trouble. You're in real trouble. Because if anybody, once you start playing this game, you realize the last 3 weeks is the hardest to raise anything. I said, the first thing you need to do is get an extension. And I said, secondly, let me tell me about those deals. So I had him tell me about the deals. I reviewed them. I took a look at some of the numbers that he had. The deals were solid deals. And I said, all right, I'll do. This is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to have you come up on stage. I'm going to have you talk about those deals. And what that will do is anybody that has money in the room that likes those deals, that's like the best, if you have the opportunity to go on anybody's stage and talk, it's the easiest way to network. I've always done that because I'm such an introvert, right? I hate going in the hallways and trying to network with people. So what I'll do is, like, anybody know Richard Wilson from Wilson Club? They're a great organization. So I'll pay Richard Wilson $15,000 so I can have 15 minutes on the stage. Because I know in the room there's a bunch of high net worth individuals. So I'll talk about emerging markets. And I'll say, hey, by the way, if anybody wants my book, Emerging Markets, come see me at the back table. So it's easy for me. People are seeking me out. So I bring Kyle up on the stage, and he does his spiel about his deals, and he raised $4.2 million. 4.2 in the room for his deals. He only needed 3.1, which is good. So there's money everywhere, so just know that. The other thing, is you definitely want to, there's a lot of skills that we're going to be sharing with you over the next 3 days. There's knowledge that you're going to be sharing over the next 3 days, not only from the stage, but also in the rooms. And then there's inspiration. The stories that you're going to hear from the stage from people that get started, especially the ones that started from struggling or maybe middle class, are just so inspirational. The whole idea is for you to realize that if they can do it, I can do it too. You know what I mean? So I was like, damn, if that person can do it. If you had seen me, right, hanging out with my friends way back in 1994, okay, drinking like I used to drink, like a fish, right, and just being crazy. I was just crazy. And you would say, after I started investing, first of all, this is what they used to say. When I first started investing, and all of a sudden I owned a bunch of property, and people realized that, the first indication they got that I was starting to become successful is when I could actually buy rounds for my friends at the bar. And then my sphere of friends started getting bigger. Imagine that. But yeah, it was a struggle for me. I hated, when you go to a bar and everybody would trade rounds, and I would count the number of people like in the group that were going to trade, and if I didn't have that much money in my pocket, I would leave. I would go somewhere. So when people would say to me like, Lindahl, he's buying properties over in Brockton, blue collar city. He's crazy. That kid, he smoked too much dope. Got to his head, right? And then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 years later, I own all these properties, right? I'm wearing a better clothes, driving a bigger car, going places. People are realizing, holy crap, he's becoming successful. And they're like, oh yeah, he's successful because he bought at the right time. You know what I mean? You have negative people on each side of the aisle. But if you had seen me back then, you would have thought and looked at me and said, no. Or when you saw me doing it, you would have said, if that kid can do it, I can do it too. And that's the whole idea behind this. And I didn't just think of that. I got that from Carlton Sheets' course. Anybody remember Carlton Sheets, the old timer? Yep. I got his course twice. The first time I got it, I put it on the shelf, didn't do anything with it. Then he had his new and improved edition. So I had to get that. So I got that, and I opened it up. I read it. It was a pretty good course. But one of the things it said is go to your real estate investment group, become a member, and look at the people in there, realize that they're just like you, they dress like you, they act like you, they come from the same place that you did, but yet they're becoming successful in real estate. And if they can do it, you can too. And that became my motto all throughout my life. If somebody else can do it, I can too.